Hello, this is Dmitry Martinovich reporting to you from Regent Park Focus, and I'm here in Allen Gardens today on the occasion of the International Overdose Awareness Day. The main focus of today's event was to show solidarity with people living with addictions and mental health, and to bring awareness to the huge problem that exists in Toronto around contaminated drugs, people overdosing from those kinds of issues, and generally the unsafe use of drugs by people who are living with addictions.
Canadian Wasses in Benjamin, which is Fort William First Nations, which is just located outside Thunder Bay. I'm here, I'm very honored to be here to help out today to offer a land acknowledgement and to offer some opening comments. And I guess the first thing I wanted to say about the gathering is how they acknowledged Mother Earth and Turtle Island. And I just want to say thank you to the organizers, and I brought my altar clock with me today, and you can see it's representative of the turtle and representative of the four colors of the two-legged beings on this earth that this issue impacts. And we're here to talk about the International Day of Overdose Awareness. And it all started back in 2001 in Melbourne, Australia. And I just want to say thank you to those people who had enough foresight to see that there's a lot of stigma attached to this issue, undeservingly. And I just wanted to let you know before I get into my land acknowledgement about the time I took today. I took my sema, which is the first plant that the Creator has given us, which is tobacco. And I started in the east and I went around the entire park with tobacco and put that tobacco down. And the sema tobacco represents our connection to Creator. And I wanted to make sure that the gathering here today, that the people were safe, that were coming, that the people who are in the park that I call seekers, and once upon a time I was in this park too as a seeker, looking for a job, a home, a place to belong, a sense of belonging. And my land acknowledgement, I'd like to start there. The yellow people, the two people they call them, for they were given the gift of time. The first clock, that community invented the first clock. But down here, the red people, they were given the gift of vision, so we could see 7 generations into the future. And from the black community, the gift of emotion, and you'll see all the songs, all the dance, how they express themselves with emotion. And up here, the Jalganosh people. So in creating this awareness about overdose prevention, I'd like to create some awareness about how we're all connected, how we're all brothers and sisters, and how we're all suffering from this issue, and how we all need to get together to fight. So I kind of
Welcome to International Overdose Day, as we are gathered here today to remember the lives that have been lost here in Canada. Drugs shouldn't be criminalized, you know. People should be able to use safely with the help of service providers, family, friends, whoever that is. I work at Street Health, downtown Toronto. They do amazing work. They have an overdose prevention site that helps people every day. They also do safe supply, which is much needed here, so people can get safe drugs. You know, so we need to rally the government for more funding for safe supply programs. So there's no more deaths. You know, this is worse than the COVID pandemic. This is a pandemic. You know, and we gotta recognize that. More people are dying every day from drug overdose than they are of COVID. And I shouldn't make with that, but this is the reality. So we need to rally our councillors, our MPs, the municipal, the provincial, the federal government, that no more lives should be lost due to tainted drug use.
Thank you very, very much, Monica. And now I would just humbly like to introduce our drummers, if they're all ready to go. Are you folks coming up here, or do you want to just sit? Okay. My name is Sarah Elizabeth, and I'm a community organizer. I sit on the steering committee of Toronto Harm Reduction Alliance, and I'm a frontline worker who is on mental health leave right now. So today is a bit of a conjoined event. It is for the International Day of Overdose Awareness, and it is also the fifth in a series of actions that a group that I'm in called the As We Mourn Collective is doing. So this event is called As We Mourn, Our Community Heals with Art. And it is important for many reasons. One, for International Overdose Awareness Day, I think it's very important that we keep the overdose crisis in the spotlight in order to keep pressure on health and government officials to take action, meaningful action on the overdose crisis to put a stop to these preventable deaths. We've surpassed 15,000 people in Canada who have died of an overdose since the beginning of this crisis, with deplorable action from the government. And so it's important, like I said, to keep that pressure on. Specifically, this event is about community healing and community care. While we were doing our actions, we realized that a lot of our community was feeling really burnt out and were really heavy with grief because of the spikes of deaths that have happened, especially in the last 3 months or so. And so instead of doing a rally or a march to continue putting that pressure on, we decided to do a community care event where people can come together, have some food, make some art together, and with the end goal of really, A, coming together, and B, creating a community quilt that will live or reside somewhere in our community that people can walk by and feel connection to, especially in a time of COVID when we're experiencing a lot of isolation, we're experiencing a lot of displacement. We thought it was really important to create an event centered around solidarity and unity.
Do you have any thoughts on the recent opening of the Safe Supply program?
Yeah, they're definitely needed. In my opinion, they're kind of a drop in the bucket. These programs, while are very necessary, they're providing a non-contaminated pharmaceutical grade supply of drugs. However, these programs are very limited, both in the substances that they offer, in the caseload that they can take on, and a lot of these programs, in fact, I think all of these programs are pilot programs, and so they're not permanently funded. And so while these are definitely a step forward, they're, like I said, just a drop in the bucket to the solution for the overdose crisis. Another part of the solution would be decriminalization, because these programs are really centered around opioids and don't include other drugs that may be contaminated, or like other people who use drugs deserve a safe supply as well. And so safe supply programs are great, but we need decrim to kind of help across the board to ensure that everybody has access to a safe supply of drugs. Safe supply programs are largely due to federal agencies, the federal government and Health Canada. And so really I would like to underline the fact that the provincial government has done nearly nothing to take any steps on the overdose crisis, which is absolutely criminal in my opinion. The last I've heard, they've put caps on overdose prevention sites, the number of overdose prevention and safe injection sites that we can have in the province. I think it's capped at 21. And so while we have quite a few in Toronto, I think about places like Windsor that does not have an OPS, and other more rural spaces that have a lot of overdoses but don't have access to the same resources. I worry and my heart is broken because I think about all of the overdoses that we're experiencing in Toronto, and that's with all of the resources that we have. And then I think about other places that don't have the same amount of resources and the amount of catastrophic death that they must be seeing because of the lack of resources. And I'd also like to state that we can't talk about decriminalization with also talking about the need for defunding the police. We don't need police to show up on wellness checks. We don't need police to show up and be mental health workers. We don't need the police to show up on overdose calls. There is a large section of their budget that can be just defunded and to be reallocated into resources that will actually address this problem.
Okay, well, my name's Monica Forster. I'm a two-spirited trans woman living in Toronto, working in community services for the last 22 years. I'm currently working at Street Health over at Sherbourne and Dundas, and our main focus is working with people that are homeless, marginalized, drug users, and we have an OPS site where we support people that use drugs and we have outreach teams that go out there and make sure people have safe supply to do their drugs. And we also have many programs to support community.
Recently, the work that Street Health does changed. It became a safe injection site, and you had to put up a fence.
You know, there was an outcry within the community, like many communities that have injection drug site, is the fear of drug users within the community. So we try to work steadily with community members to support their concerns, but also to educate people on the community around the Sherbourne and Dundas area. So yes, we have put up a fence, but there were just protocols put in place to make sure things were safe, but also we work really hard with community to making sure that we have outreach teams out there picking up syringes and drug paraphernalia if that is needed within the laneways or areas where people live. So we've been working really hard to do that and working with community, listening to their concerns, but also making them aware of the community that actually lives there also. So the community also houses a lot of low-income housing. It's known, Sherbourne and Dundas is known for decades, an area where there's a lot of people that are homeless, live in poverty, you know what I mean? Intergenerational poverty, you know what I mean? So it's a mix of different people in a community. But it's to bring awareness that we're seeing such high numbers of overdose. Like there's numerous overdoses a day. People are dying daily. It's become a pandemic, not only here in Toronto, but in Canada. So it's to kind of bring awareness that we need to tell the government, the 3 different levels of government, municipal, provincial, and federal government, that we need more funding for safe supply. So safe supply is actually, OPS is working with clients to give them safe drugs to support them so they stay alive, so they're feeling supported, they're feeling safe. Safe supply has shown to work. We are building community, we're building harm reduction practices, we're supporting people where they're at, you know what I mean? And just through the people that come through Street Health, we, have seen a sense of community, a sense of dignity that they deserve, and a sense of, pride within who they are, you know what I mean? So Street Health has been one of the few agencies, there's many agencies that are doing OPS sites like Moss Park and Fred Victor and Queen West and Parkdale, so they're, we're really trying to make sure that everyone's lives matter across Toronto around drug use. Drugs that are criminalized put people in very isolated situations, put people at risk, you know what I mean? The drugs that are tainted. The last couple of years, we're seeing a spike in tainted drugs. You know what I mean? If drugs are regulated, you know what I mean? The Safe Supply program is rolled out across the city. We're going to see more lives being saved. We're going to see more productivity, less stigma, more supports, and so I think the few agencies now that are rolling out this program, like I said earlier, has really improved the lives of people that are accessing. I'm hoping that that the provincial government and municipal government see the need to push for more funding for this project and to save lives.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and for more information, please check out our website.